y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're going to review NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Now at the time of this recording we're just a couple hours after the show, so it's all still fresh in my mind. I'm going to jump right into it. First match of the night we have for the NXT Tag Team Championship, the Undisputed Era of not Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly versus Moustache Mountain of Trent 7 and Tyler Bate, representing British Strong Style, of course. I thought this was a really good match. I thought this was a good opener. I think these are two really good teams. I thought they did really well, and it really kind of set the bar for what was going to happen going forward. Undisputed Era wins a match. I enjoyed it. I think the right outcome happened. I know we're kind of starting to get some of the more and more of the NXT UK guys here, but with them starting their own show, I could see them, they're having their own set of belts and championships and such to defend. So keep them over there, let them defend, and get the NXT UK Tag Team Championship. But I thought it was a really good match, a great way to start the show. We're going to basically rerate everything here on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. I'm going to give this match a 4. After the match, we see the War Raiders come out and attack the Undisputed Era, basically saying that, hey, we're the next contenders, we're ready to come for your title. Next up, we have the only match of the night that isn't a championship match, and that's the Velveteen Dream versus EC3. I like this match. I thought it was good. I really think that both these guys have a lot of upside potential. EC3, I don't know why. It's going to sound weird, but I don't think he belongs on NXT. I think he needs to be on the main roster ASAP. He's built for the main roster. And not to say that the crowd in NXT doesn't appreciate him and he's not a great star, but it feels like every minute EC3's in NXT, he's just treading water. And it doesn't feel like they're going to put him in anything specific. I kind of have the feeling that they're going to pull him up sooner than later. They just had to put him in NXT because everybody goes to NXT. But he's already been there in a different incarnation. So every one of his matches I feel he's treading water. And I don't understand why he's losing more. He loses more than he wins. He lost tonight against Velveteen Dream, which I'm not knocking. Velveteen Dream is a great talent as well, but it to me, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. I might be the only one feeling this, but it feels like EC3's treading water. The match itself I thought was really good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed the match, but I just get that weird vibe when I watch this that, they don't know what to do with him, or he's just biding time, basically. After the match, we've seen something that's kind of been a staple of NXT, and that is the hottest new free agent signing. They show in the crowd the King of the Bros, Matt Riddle. Kind of a surprise that everybody knew this was expected. It's been expected for the last couple of years, to be honest with you. Even when he started wrestling with the WWN and working more closely with Gabe Sapolsky, I was hearing rumors back then that the reason he signed with them was that WWE had their eye on him and kind of wanted him there because, let's just say, Matt Riddle likes to do a recreational drug that's not quite legal in every state in the United States yet. I think it will be soon. I mean, It's just the way it's going. But now that the time has passed, they brought him in. I think it's a great pickup. I like Matt Riddle a lot. He has a different flavor. He's got that credibility, being that he's undefeated in the UFC, being a former Ultimate Fighter contestant. He has that immediate credibility. He's an indie star. I think the sky's the limit for the kid as long as they book him properly. And I really hope that he continues to not wear boots, because I think that's really cool. I think not only is it an homage to UFC, but it's an homage to the guys like Kevin Von Erich or Jimmy Superfly Snuka, guys of years past that used to wrestle without boots on. So I hope he keeps that look, to be honest with you. I think it's cool. Next up, we have Adam Cole, Bate, versus Ricochet for the NXT North American title. You can't say Adam Cole's name without saying the Bate. It's just a rule. This, to me, was the best match of the night. I thought this was amazing. Here you have two of the absolute top-tier talents in wrestling going at it. I think this is like, if wrestling was to have an all-pro team, these guys would be the top stars, or an all-star team. These would be the starters. This match was off the charts. There was such good, they meshed so well together. The one point where Ricochet goes for a lion salt, and Adam Cole times it perfectly with the super kick to his head. That's such a little thing, but something that so easily could be messed up. They did it perfectly, and everything about this match, it felt like a big fight. It felt like you had two huge stars wrestling each other, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was a great match. Ricochet ends up winning the match and winning the North American Championship. So maybe Adam Cole's going to go on to bigger things. Maybe challenge for the NXT Championship. Maybe we see him end up on Raw or SmackDown rather soon. But I thought this was a great match. Again, I've said it over and over again. Two great wrestlers going against each other. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Now, all of the superlatives, or all of the praise I just gave that match, we can add on to the next match as well. And that's Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. Kairi Sane, I'm sorry. Got a little bit of a throat thing going on. I do apologize. But I thought this match was fantastic. To me, it was the second best match of the night, and not by a large margin, by a very minor margin. I like how they worked the match. I like that Shayna wrestled as a bully, wrestled as a submission specialist. Kairi Sane had the fighting spirit, did the underdog, wrestled as the underdog, added some flavor to her arsenal. She put in some new moves, some new submissions. Like, she learned new things because she needed to beat Shayna Baszler this time. I thought it was a fantastic match. On any other card, it would have been the best match of the night. I really enjoyed it. I give it a 5 out of 5. Kairi Sane picks up the win in the Women's Championship. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's 4 matches in a row I really enjoyed, and 2 of them that could have easily been match of the night. Now, going on to the main event, yes, folks, this was only a 5-match card. Isn't it amazing, the dichotomy of NXT, which has 5 matches and is a little over 2 hours and will probably be widely praised, against SummerSlam, which hasn't happened yet and has 13 announced matches on the card and will probably be a 5-6 hour affair, which we'll see. We'll see if it gets praised. These marathon shows recently, the past couple WrestleManias, haven't much been delivering. So they, much like every year or every big show that NXT gets a special, gets a takeover for, the main roster has to try and figure out a way to top them. Most of the time they don't. So we're going to jump into our main event. That was just a little bit of a sidebar. We have Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship in a last man standing match. Now, there is a little bit of a burnout happening with Ciampa and Gargano. This is the third time we've seen them in similar matches, last man standing, no holds barred type matches. So, in the unsanctioned match, we're getting to the point of what else can they do? What haven't they done yet? And I don't want to take away from the match, because if you take the match as a one-off, it's a really, really good match. It's really well worked. I think there is a little bit of burnout that's setting in again with these guys. And I can't really blame the NXT booking committee, because it was to be a three-way before Aleister Black got injured. However, it kind of forced their hand once he did it. They could have either put someone else into this match, which they already had everything taped leading into the TakeOver special, or they could have just made it a one-on-one. And they decided to make it a one-on-one match, which might have been the right decision. I mean, the match played out well. The fans responded well. I thought it was really good. I am feeling the burnout a bit, though. Unlike something like Okada versus Omega, where it's been spaced out, their matches, where you're getting 6 months, 8 months, a year between the matches, or even Flair versus Steamboat back in the day, where the matches were spread out enough and different enough that you didn't get burnt out on it. I feel this feud has run its course, and I don't want this to come off too negative, because I really enjoyed the match. But to me, I don't want to see Ciampa Gargano 4. And I think the ending with Ciampa winning is going to do one of two things. It's either going to take Johnny and he's going to go totally off the deep end, and we'll see somewhat of a heel turn in him, or more towards what Ciampa's doing, or it's going to end up being something maybe in Hell in a Cell. I mean, I could easily see them trying to fit an NXT match on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, or doing it at War Game, when they're going to do the War Games later this year, and putting these guys in a final blow-off, because Gargano eventually has to get the win over Ciampa, so there has to be a fourth match. I just feel we're starting to feel the burnout. Ciampa picked up the win. I thought the match was fantastic. It's a 5 out of 5. But I don't know where they go. How do they raise the bar again? And that's the takeaway I have from it. I liked the match a lot. I really did. It was, unfortunately, the third best match of the night. But that's not saying that it was a bad match either. This wasn't the third best match on a card with a bunch of stinkers. This was the third best match on a night where I've rated 3 matches 5 out of 5. And the other 2 matches were 4s. So everything of the night was either really good or great, in my opinion. I know I've criticized it a bit, but it's more of a general criticism on the booking, and I don't see where the storyline goes, basically. So I'll be happy to see what happens from here. Ciampa, I think he's going to be a good champion. I think he's got a perfect heel character, especially in NXT. The fact that he has no music is phenomenal. I wish they didn't put out an official t-shirt for him, because it kind of, I don't know that it doesn't take away from a lot of new school fans, but to old school fans like myself, who I've been watching wrestling 30 plus years now, back in the day, there was little to no merchandise for the heels. You seen a little bit with the Four Horsemen, and the Freebirds had their music, but you didn't see every wrestler on the roster had a t-shirt. There was no King Kong Bundy shirt. There was no Terry Funk shirt. They may have had wrestling toys when they came out with the toy lines, but that was for someone for your face wrestling toys to be. So, I mean, you didn't see it back then. It was just, and Ciampa not having an official shirt, not having official merchandise other than the DIY stuff, kind of made him feel like more of a throwback. The no music makes him feel like a throwback to that time. It's a little thing, but it's just me being picky, I guess. With all that being said, I'm going to give the show itself a 5 out of 5. I thought it was a home run. It knocked the ball out of the park. Like I said, every match on the card was either very good or great. The run-in with the War Raiders I thought was good. Announcing Matt Riddle's joined I thought was good. I kind of expected at least one of the members that are in the Mae Young Classic this year to be in the crowd, or several. So that was my expectations. Nothing they did wrong. But overall, a really enjoyable show. A 5 out of 5. The takeovers hardly ever disappoint, and this one kept that streak going. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4.